A fragile ceasefire with Iran, the latest on the negotiations in the Middle East and reactions from around the world.
In the city, eye-catching new signs going up in subways across the 5 boroughs aimed at making your trip safer. Will they work?
And from drinks to paella, ube is the new flavour craze. So what is it? And why is its popularity also a problem?
These stories and more coming up on CJS News.
Good afternoon. I'm Yeya Wan.
And I'm Mabel Pickering. Welcome to CJS News. The United States and Iran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire that preempted President Trump's threat to destroy Iranian civilization. The ceasefire would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but questions remain about when that will happen. And today, the fighting continues. The 2-week ceasefire has been met by conflicting signals from the president, who first praised Iran's 10-point proposal, then later called it fraudulent, when a version appeared in Farsi that said Iran would continue to enrich uranium. Iran wants US troops out and sanctions lifted. The US wants oil and gas moving through the Strait of Hormuz again. At the same time, the fighting has not stopped. An Israeli official says operations against the Iranian-backed militia, Hezbollah, are continuing in Lebanon. Earlier this week, more than 70 lawmakers raised concerns about President Trump's rhetoric after he warned of massive destruction if Iran failed to open the Strait of Hormuz. Some called on the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment and declare Trump unfit to serve. For now, the ceasefire remains uncertain. Negotiations are set to start tomorrow in Islamabad, Pakistan. Vice President J.D. Vance will be leading the US delegation at the peace talks.
World leaders are expressing relief following President Trump's announcement of the ceasefire.
Pakistan mediated the ceasefire. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said Iran and the U.S. have agreed to an immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon. However, in a post on X, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the ceasefire does not include Lebanon. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, who has condemned the war in Iran, said that ceasefires are, quote, always good news, but that Spain will not applaud those who set the world on fire just because they show up with a bucket. He joined several other European leaders in committing to ensure unrestricted passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
The Pope has also commented, calling it a sign of genuine hope. This comes hours after he said President Trump's threat against the Iranian people was absolutely unacceptable. Astronauts aboard the Artemis II are preparing to return to Earth tomorrow. Their mission has been one for the record books. They've sent back some never-before-seen pictures of the moon.
Take a look at this. There's the moon eclipsing the sun, an angle we're seeing for the first time. The 4 astronauts were the first to see the far side of the moon. They've traveled farther than any other human beings in history. The Orion spacecraft flew more than 250,000 miles away from Earth, breaking Apollo 13's record. This is the first crewed space mission in 56 years. Earlier this week, NASA lost contact with the astronauts for about 40 minutes as the Orion flew behind the moon. NASA planned for the disruption. The astronauts will splash down in the Pacific Ocean tomorrow around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Now, yeah, those photos are really quite something.
They really put into perspective just how little we actually know about outer space.
You're so right, Yaya. Back at home, President Trump's cabinet remains in flux. Last week, the president fired Attorney General Pam Bondi. That move came just weeks after he removed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem from her post. Bondi and the Justice Department had faced criticism over their handling of the Epstein files. Trump was also reportedly frustrated with Bondi for failing to prosecute his political enemies, singling her out on Truth Social, saying, "All talk, no action." Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is serving as acting Attorney General. Blanche said Tuesday he would take the permanent position if offered. Despite the changes, the president is downplaying reports of a broader cabinet shakeup.
Here in the city, Staten Island renters got their turn to tell City Hall exactly what's happening inside their apartments. The final stop of Mayor Mamdani's rental ripoff hearings focused on the borough's rent issues as city leaders prepare to tackle the housing crisis. Kat Struhart is live at City Hall with the story.
Thanks, Yaya. For months, New Yorkers have been raising their hands and raising their voices to tell the city about broken heaters, hidden fees, and landlords that just won't pick up the phone. For Staten Island's turn, tenant advocates came ready.
Tenants Act!
Tenants rallied ahead of the hearing, saying city officials have let them down.
What do we want? Affordable housing. When do we want it? Now!
Renters got a direct line to senior city officials, one-on-one conversations meant to uncover the housing conditions that 311 calls and housing court battles have failed to fix.
For 3 years, I didn't have heat in my apartment. So finally I said, fuck it, I'm going to call 311 on you. And I have a mom and pop landlord, and while he can be a nice guy, I don't think that he should own my home.
That's a reality unique to Staten Island, where most landlords are small, independent operators, often exempt from the stricter city housing regulations that apply to larger buildings. For tenants like Casey, that gap in oversight can mean years of suffering.
Life is being destroyed. This has to stop.
Inside, renters heard from Sia Weaver, director of the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants.
We want to make it easier for New Yorkers to get violations reported at their homes. We want to make it easier for tenants to know how much their rent is going to be every month. We want to correct misleading apartment listings. We want to make renting a more transparent and fair process here in New York.
The Mamdani administration says that the policy report will be available this summer and will serve as the basis of the city's broader housing agenda. Live at City Hall, I'm Kat Struhar, CJS News.
Thanks, Kat. If you didn't make Tuesday's hearing, the city is still accepting testimony online. Just go to nyc.gov/rental ripoff.
Spring is in the air, and with warmer weather comes the return of outdoor dining. But this year, the number of participating restaurants has hit a new low. CJS News reporter Chantilly McFarlane is live on the Upper West Side with more. Chantilly?
Thanks, Mabel. As the weather begins to warm up, restaurants are preparing to serve customers outside, but that comes with new limits and expectations.
Starting April 1st, roadway cafes, also known as outdoor dining sheds, are back under the city's Dining Out NYC program, running through November 29th. The program allows restaurants to expand sidewalk cafes into parking spots and loading zones. But unlike the pandemic, when outdoor dining was flexible, today's program is more structured and seasonal. Restaurants now have to apply for permits, pay fees, and rebuild their setups each year. Despite that, some say it's worth it.
I feel like it makes such a big difference because we have very limited seating inside. So even when we have this small patio, especially when it's a nice summer day or even a little bit of hotness, the whole patio is taken.
The Department of Transportation says about 1,800 roadway cafes are eligible for outdoor dining permits, but just over 690 have been approved so far. In a statement, Andrew Ridgey from the New York City Hospitality Alliance says, the city must issue more temporary permits so small businesses don't miss out on much needed revenue, while also fixing the system so more restaurants can offer al fresco dining. With the arrival of spring, they must act now. Amity Hall Operations Manager James Wells believes this program is smart for the congested city.
A program like that, I think, is really smart for a city like this because we're so, we're congested a little bit, right? Like we're all sharing a tight space. So the more structure we have in place, the more rules we have in place, the more it really does keep everyone kind of at a higher successful rate.
The City Council is looking at a bill to make it easier for restaurants to get their outdoor dining permits. Mayor Mamdani says he supports making outdoor dining available all year long. Live on the Upper West Side, I'm Chantilly McFarlane, CJS News.
Thank you, Chantilly. For Sexual Violence Awareness Month, the city is launching a campaign aimed at curbing street harassment. CJS News reporter Ines Fahmy is live with more. Ines?
You may have seen these popping up all over the city this past week. Ads like these are part of the anti-street harassment campaign by the city this April for Sexual Violence Awareness Month. With a $250,000 budget, the posters and videos in English and Spanish say, "Hey sexy" or "Hey baby," followed by paragraphs like, "Unwanted attention isn't harmless, it's harassment."
Yes, I've seen once or twice on the train. I stopped and glanced at it because of the cool design. And so I read it and I thought that it was a good initiative because I also believe unwanted attention is harassment.
Scan these QR codes and you land on a survey report and a resource guide available in 11 languages with directions on how to react, find help, and report incidents. Priya Nair, Executive Director of the NYC Commission on Gender Equity, explained,
This campaign, really makes clear that this is unacceptable behavior and that there are places that you can go for resources and tools to help.
In a press release, Mayor Mamdani said, "Street harassment is pervasive. It impacts New Yorkers in every borough, and addressing it means investing in tools and resources to reduce harm and build safer communities." A 2024 survey by the Street Harassment Prevention Advisory Board reveals 7 in 10 New Yorkers experience street harassment, most of them women, and the vast majority of incidents go unreported.
Our survey showed that 51% of respondents actually changed their commutes to avoid street harassment, and some respondents even thought of leaving New York City entirely due to street harassment.
Are posters really enough to address the problem?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. If it helps to a certain extent, it's always welcome.
Deborah Coffey, member of the city's Voices Survivor-led group, said,
"It's not the last step in ending street harassment, but I feel awareness is crucial. I think there's power in conversation. I feel like this campaign allows for people to get into that and to really have the time to discuss with their peers, with their students, maybe family members, on why it's not okay. And then to come together to see, okay, what can we do so that we can decrease those numbers so that less New Yorkers are experiencing street harassment."
You can find these at over 200 different public spots, like subway stations, until the 8th of April. Live from the Upper West Side, I'm Ines Fehmi for CJS News. Back to you.
Thanks, Ines. A new restaurant in Morningside Heights just opened steps away from Columbia. It links food, memory, and the recent protests. CJS News reporter Shireen Hakim joins us live with more. Shireen?
The restaurant is called Hind's Hall, and it's bringing a new cuisine to the area, Palestinian food.
Hind's Hall recently opened on Amsterdam Avenue near West 106th Street, drawing customers from the neighborhood and the Columbia community. The restaurant is named after Hind Rajab, a 5-year-old Palestinian girl who was killed in Gaza earlier this year and whose story drew international attention. But the name also carries local meaning. During pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University in April 2024, student demonstrators occupied Hamilton Hall and renamed it Hind's Hall. Hamilton Hall has long been a focal point for student protests. In 1968, students occupied the building during demonstrations against the Vietnam War and university expansion into Harlem. During various protests in 1985 and 1986, students renamed the building Mandela Hall and later Malcolm X Liberation College. Most recently, the building again became the center of a student movement. Now that symbol of protest has taken on a more permanent form off campus in a neighborhood restaurant open to the public. For some customers, the Hind's Hall restaurant a few blocks away from campus is simply a place to eat. For others, its name and location carry deeper meaning.
It's more culturally connected, and obviously it's showing that it's rooted in something very important.
It's like a small act of resistance, I guess, to have something like that in the neighborhood.
Now, that moment has found a more permanent home, with Hind's Hall serving as both an homage to the campus protests and a celebration of Palestinian food and culture.
Owner Abdul El-Anani said in a social media post, "No matter what business you are in, there should always be a deeper purpose behind it." Live from Morningside Heights, this is Shireen Hakim for CJS News.
Thank you, Shireen. Stay with us. Coming up on CJS News.
More news from New York and around the world. Plus, The Scroll, our freshest stories from social media.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 Americans are sick of the divisions in our country? But there's one small step we can take to remember that we're still connected. All over America, strangers with different political views are coming together to talk about their lives, not politics, and discovering they actually have a lot in common. Because even if we don't see eye to eye, we can still talk, heart to heart. So let's talk, for a change. Learn more at takeonesmallstep.org.
Welcome back to CJS News. I'm Destiny Jones.
And I'm Gianna Totani. Thanks for staying with us.
A major update in the Gilgo Beach serial killer case. Rex Heuermann, a 62-year-old architect from Long Island, has admitted to killing 8 women. The murder investigation began in 2010 when police discovered the bodies of several women buried around Gilgo Beach on the south shore of Long Island. Heuermann was arrested in 2023. He pleaded guilty yesterday and will be sentenced in June.
The New York City budget dance is getting off to a rocky start. Mayor Mamdani and the City Council now going back and forth on what's best for the city.
Mayor Mamdani wants to increase taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers and end the drain, or stop giving more to the state than the city gets back. City Council Speaker Julie Menon responded with a proposal that closes the $5.4 billion budget gap by re-estimating revenues, managing contracts, and tapping into old unpaid debts. Her proposal does not include taxing the rich, raising property taxes, draining the reserves, or cutting services. Mamdani called her proposal unrealistic.
If her proposal was adopted, it would result in slashing billions of dollars from agency budgets, and working New Yorkers would pay the price.
The city's budget negotiations will intensify until Governor Hochul finalizes the state's budget, which is already late.
Staying with news from the 5 boroughs, finding childcare in the city just got a little easier for local families. Mayor Mamdani has launched a new website and interactive map to help parents find and compare nearby options. The platform shows cost, safety, and available programs all in one place. For many families, finding reliable and affordable childcare can be overwhelming and time-consuming. The mayor's office says the new website will limit the time spent searching, cross-checking lists, and relying on word of mouth.
April showers bring May flowers, but they also bring the potential for flooding. Now the city is making some much-needed upgrades to get the sewer system ready for the rain.
Mayor Mamdani and the Department of Environmental Protection plan to replace about 7,000 catch basins over the next decade. DEP Commissioner Lisa Garcia says recent storms have put increased pressure on the sewer system. This $108 million investment will ensure the city's drainage network can handle more intense storms. Replacing the old basins with new ones involves rebuilding the entire underground structure. A DEP spokesperson said the construction is not expected to disrupt streets or traffic.
Now for our segment, The Scroll.
Follow us on our socials as we take you through some of the most interesting stories our reporters are covering. Gianna, have you seen those bright purple drinks? They're absolutely everywhere.
You know, I actually have, but I haven't tried it yet. But I'm really curious what makes that bright purple color.
It's called ube, and it's been rising in popularity recently. Here's our social media reporter, Mabel Loy, with the rundown.
Have you ever seen this root vegetable before? It's called ube, and it's taking over cafes and bakeries across the country. You might recognize it from the vibrant purple hue that it gives to drinks, desserts, and even some savory items. But where is ube originally from, and why are some people concerned with its growing popularity? Well, ube, not to be confused with taro or purple sweet potato, has roots in the Philippines. It has a mildly sweet and nutty taste, and it's often boiled and mashed to make ube halaya, which is then used in popular desserts like halo-halo. For centuries, ube was eaten primarily in the Philippines, but lately it's become more popular not just in Southeast Asia, but also here in the United States. Today, I'm here at Ube Land, a pop-up market in New York, and here's what some visitors and vendors had to say about the purple yam.
You could put it in noodles, you could put it in dessert, tiramisu, drink, smoothie, shaved ice, coffee. So I think that's why it's popping right now.
I associate like ube ice cream, like ube puto, things like that with like home and family. It is like something that brings Filipino Americans pride. It's because of ube's cultural significance that some people have mixed feelings about its surge in popularity. They worry that it's going to be another example of Asian culture being distilled into a trend or an aesthetic in the West. I do have worries about like the overproduction, the underpayment of Filipino workers. There's also the fact that Filipino farmers are struggling to keep up with the demand for ube.
Farms in the Philippines are small. If you scale it, you
you practically will consume all the small farms there is. If they really have to catch up with demand, then I see that farmers have to really group as a team or organization to pool their lands.
Ube certainly has an interesting road ahead, but for now, there's certainly no shortage of ube here. From Ube Land in Union Square, I'm Mabel Lui for CJS News.
Broadway had a good week. Attendance is the highest it's been in months. A lot of celebrities are popping up on the stage this season. Daniel Radcliffe, Whitney Levitt, and Jim Parsons.
I'm hoping to catch Megan Thee Stallion in Moulin Rouge.
Star power seems to be driving some fans to the theater. Here's our social media reporter, Isabella Gaglione, with more.
At Radio City, there was thunderous applause for a two-night production of The Last 5 Years, starring Rachel Zegler and Ben Platt. The show joins a trend on Broadway. Take familiar stories and actors, put them on a stage for a limited time, and the crowds come out.
I think it's a really special art form to see music live.
Was kind of the cast and the big names that brought me to see it.
It's exciting and I'm happy that people are investing in live theater.
13 musicals have had stars of the screen and social feeds in the past year, and it's not just known faces on stage. Of the 27 musicals currently on Broadway, only 4 shows are new. 13 are adaptations, 6 are jukebox musicals, 5 are revivals, and 8 are old standbys.
Why aren't we seeing an abundance of new material right now? It costs millions to put up a Broadway show, and only about 10% are profitable right now, according to the Broadway League, which tracks the industry.
As the industry continues to find its post-pandemic footing, shows like The Last 5 Years may be around for many years.
The pink moon was everywhere on social media. Did you see it?
I did, and for a lot of people, it's more than just a pretty view.
There's a growing interest in astrology, especially among younger Americans. Grace Blendonahy has more.
The pink moon, the first full spring moon of the spring season, occurred on April 1st. The moon wasn't actually pink in color, it gets its name from spring wildflowers. And on social media, the conversation quickly changed from astronomy to astrology.
First full moon of the astrological year, so it really sets the stage.
Here's how it's going to affect you for your zodiac sign.
A Pew study research found that 30% of Americans use astrology, tarot cards, or fortune tellers. Young people are driving that interest much more than older generations. Some use it as part of their daily routine.
If there's a positive message, I'll be more optimistic about the day. But if there's a message of stay in bed, I will purposely cancel my workout or find an excuse to not do something.
Researchers say most users don't use astrology as predictive, but rather as a tool for self-discovery and self-understanding. And apps like CoStar and The Pattern are driving this multi-billion-dollar industry. Whether it's written in the stars or not, astrology's impact is real and it continues to grow.
From pink moons to all the colors of the rainbow.
This past Sunday was the famed Easter parade along Fifth Avenue, and there were vibrant outfits and hats everywhere.
The Catholic Church is also seeing a surge in congregants. Alicia Mess has the story.
At this year's Easter's parade outside St. Patrick's Cathedral, thousands showed up in pastel-colored hats and handmade costumes to celebrate creativity and seasonal renewal.
I just think it's all a joyous celebration, you know, we're in a celebratory mood.
But beyond the hats and celebrations, for many, Easter is about faith. And for some young people, that connection to faith is evolving. According to recent reports, more Gen Z adults are turning to Catholicism, with an increase in baptisms and confirmations across U.S. college campuses. On social media, thousands of young Catholics say they're inspired by the traditional practices of attending Mass and gaining a sense of community.
And when you go into Mass, it's an opportunity not only to meditate, but go with friends and, make those connections that you probably are neglecting over the course of the week.
They need God in their life. I think people strongly feel it in their souls.
St. Joseph's Church in Greenwich Village has seen hundreds of young worshipers in recent weeks. And many, like Father Durbis, believes it's because young people are hungry for faith.
They want to understand what their place is in the world and a sense of belonging. And I think they find that in the church. And when they see other people doing it as well, I think it gives them a sense of friendship.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hurricane Helene, devastating impacts on the southeast. Now it's time to help the people and communities who need it most. To make a one-time financial gift to the American Red Cross, scan the QR code on the screen. Make sure to select I want to support Hurricane Helene. and enter how much you'd like to donate. Or go to redcross.org/donate. Together, we will make a difference for those recovering in hard-hit communities.
Finally today, a story to leave you smiling.
Our own Lily Cortez Gutierrez went to Midtown to bring us news about the latest dance and the unlikely dancer behind it.
Spring has arrived, and so has a groovy little bird that's drawing a flock of onlookers to Bryant Park.
The American woodcock is gaining fame. The reason? Its moves.
It's just as good as everyone thinks it is.
Crowds keep coming just to watch the woodcock do this little dance, bobbing in place and rocking as it walks.
It's kind of shocking that it's just staying here with so many people around.
Now it's a local celebrity inspiring merchandise that's selling out.
Woodcock is going to take up like half of the store now. It's getting a lot of love. He's so pudgy and cute and he just gets jiggy, does his little dance.
A tiny dancer turning Bryant Park into its stage one step at a time.
New York really does have its very own celebrity.
I mean, a dancing bird was not on my 2026 bingo card, but here we are. That's it for us on CJS News. I'm Yaya Wan.
I'm Mabel Pickering.
I'm Destiny Jones.
And I'm Gianna Totani. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
I saw the bird the other day.